Welcome to This Explainer. Look, right now there's a massive, literally industry-shaking shift happening behind the scenes of your favorite video games. Epic Games has made the highly controversial decision to hardwire generative AI right into the very core of how digital worlds are built. So today, we're unpacking exactly what Epic is doing, why they're doing it, and why the folks who actually make the games you love are so incredibly divided over the whole thing. Let's get right into it.
So, what exactly happens when the engine that powers a huge slice of the entire gaming ecosystem just hands the reins over to AI? Well, we've got a fascinating standoff here. On one side, Epic is trying to kill off the tedious, repetitive game dev work that just totally bogs creators down. But on the flip side, we're seeing fierce pushback from the creators themselves. To understand this dynamic, we really have to look at how Epic is redesigning their software from the ground up.
Section 1. AI enters the game engine.
Epic's grand vision here is to use models like Anthropic's Claude and Google's Gemini as what they're calling productivity and creativity multipliers. I mean, think about manually placing every single coffee cup, desk, and lamp inside a massive digital skyscraper. It's exhausting, right? By handing that exact kind of grunt work to AI, developers can theoretically spend their time making the game actually fun to play. It's basically the exact same logic that brought AI into design apps like Canva, but now it's aimed at the insanely complex tools used to build entire virtual universes.
Moving to Section 2. The 3 pillars of Unreal Engine 6.
To actually pull this off, Unreal Engine 6 is being built on 3 really distinct pillars. First up is Verse. This is a brand new, accessible gameplay programming model that's going to feel super familiar if you've ever used Python or C#. Second is Portability. Basically, establishing open standards so your content and code can bounce seamlessly across different engines. But the third pillar, well, that's why we're here today. AI. Epic isn't just bolting on some clunky, quick chatbot, they are baking large language models directly into the engine's central nervous system.
Section 3. Bringing your own model.
So Epic's real secret weapon here is something called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. Instead of forcing everyone to use one proprietary AI, they're opening the engine up through this MCP layer. You can think of it like a universal power outlet for AI. Studios can basically plug and play their absolute favorite third-party models straight into their workflow. You want to use Claude to generate environment assets, but use Gemini to write dialogue? MCP makes that happen. It literally turns third-party AI into a permanent, structural piece of game creation.
And you know what? We don't even have to wait for Unreal Engine 6 to see this happening. This experimental workflow is actually already here in the new Unreal Engine 5.8 plugin. In a recent demo, Epic showed Claude Code pulling objects from a massive asset library to just automatically furnish a virtual apartment. Then, the AI instantly tweaked the lighting in a digital city scene to perfectly match a real-world reference photo. And crucially, developers can still step in, grab the mouse, and move everything by hand afterwards, so you're not giving up that ultimate creative control.
Which brings us to Section 4, the great developer pushback. Okay, so while the execs at Epic are absolutely thrilled about these new tools, the reaction on the ground is, well, it paints a vastly different picture. Let's look at the numbers from the 2026 State of the Game Industry survey by GDC. They polled over 2,300 workers, and it shows a staggering spike in negative sentiment. Back in 2024, only 18% of developers felt AI had a negative effect on the industry. In 2025, it jumped to 30%. And looking at the 2026 data, over half, 52% of all developers surveyed believe generative AI is actively hurting their field.
And then, on the flip side, just 7% of surveyed developers see generative AI as having a positive impact. 7%. To put that into perspective, that is remarkably low for a tech that a titan of the industry is making a central pillar of its future. It's incredibly clear from these numbers that Epic is pushing AI directly into its engine at the exact moment when the grassroots industry is, frankly, deeply wary of it.
And this unease, it's not just theoretical internet complaining. It has real, immediate business consequences. Take Poncle, for example, the studio behind the smash hit Vampire Survivors. They publicly stated they were reviewing their Fortnite collaboration right after Epic's AI announcements. Plus, all this pushback is happening during a period of intense corporate tightening. The whole industry is feeling a real squeeze. Epic themselves recently laid off over 1,000 staff members, all while trying to navigate softening player engagement in Fortnite as they battle rivals like Roblox.
Section 5. The inevitable AI future.
Now, despite all that developer backlash, the dropping engagement numbers, and the layoffs, Epic's roadmap is locked in. They are firmly committed to unifying the standalone Unreal Engine 5 and the Unreal Editor for Fortnite into one single AI-powered product. The timeline is set. We're marching straight from today's experimental features in 5.8 to a targeted Unreal Engine 6 early access release by the end of 2027. And then, roughly 12 to 18 months after that, we get the massive, unified UB6 full launch. This structural shift is already in motion.
If you really want to understand Epic's perspective on this, just look at CEO Tim Sweeney's stance. He said that requiring a Made with AI tag, and I'm quoting here, makes no sense for game stores, where AI will be involved in nearly all future production. That perfectly captures their corporate confidence. Epic is basically saying that an AI-assisted workflow is no longer some optional gimmick. For them, it is an unavoidable foundational reality for the entire medium.
So by hardwiring Claude, Gemini, and that model context protocol right into the bedrock of Unreal Engine 6, Epic is making a staggering gamble on how games are going to be made tomorrow. Which leaves us with the ultimate question. With 52% of developers fundamentally opposed to generative AI's impact on their industry, will the countless skeptical studios who currently rely on this engine actually follow Epic into this new era? Or are they going to start looking for an entirely different way to build their worlds? It's a fascinating standoff for sure. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning how your favorite digital worlds are built.